It's well known that Boston has a thriving knowledge economy along with a good deal of new construction. What's less known is the growing demand for people with some special skills in trades and crafts. Meeting that demand is the goal of the country's first trade school, the North Bennett Street School in the North End. To tell us about the school and some of the opportunities is its new president, Sarah Turner. Thank you very much for being with us, Sarah.
Yeah, it's so nice to be here. Thank you.
First of all, what about your own background before you came to the school? What were you doing before?
Well, before I came to the school, I was working for another sort of specialized school. It was a graduate school in art design and architecture in Michigan called the Cranbrook Academy of Art. And I was the dean of the graduate school, but behind that lies my own education and craft. So I was trained once upon a time as a jeweler and a metalsmith. Done a fair amount of woodworking, some textiles. So I'd come out of a background of having done studio teaching, directly teaching people hand skills and how to use tools, all the way up to then a career in academic administration. So that's kind of my past before I got to Boston.
Well, there are a couple of things, at least, that distinguish your school from other ways to learn trades.
Yeah.
First of all, the kind of trades and crafts that you're teaching, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, that's right. So we're unique in the suite of programs that we offer together. And so what we think of is we think that we're educating people for employment in the crafts and trades. And what does that mean? That means that people are coming to us to study bookbinding, carpentry. They're coming to study piano tuning and piano technology, locksmithing, jewelry and jewelry repair, violin making, preservation carpentry, and cabinetry and furniture. So this is the whole suite, and that's what is unique about North Bennett, is you can find these programs elsewhere, but you can't find them where they're going to intersect with each other and really build a whole community around craft and trade.
Now, some people might say, that sounds nice, but you know, such refinement. I mean, is there really a market for all of that?
There is, and this is one of the things I love about the school, is it educates to employ. And so they're very careful about making sure that their graduates can be employed when they leave, and they have a great track record with that. What we're learning from the Department of Education is that about over the next 5 years, about 68% of the jobs in the trades will remain unfilled because the generation is retiring that was filling those jobs, and people aren't being educated in those areas to replace them. So we see a real need for this. It's a need regionally, it's a need nationally, and we're delighted that people come to us to learn these specialized skills and specialized trades.
Well, one reason there's a need for customization is that you have partners who demand it. Some of them are large institutions.
That's right.
Start with the large ones. What kind of things does that mean?
Well, some of the largest ones are places like the Boston Symphony Orchestra. So a number of our students from our piano tuning and piano technology program are interning at Tanglewood, the BSO's summer program, which is giving them terrific new skills and leading to employment. Our graduates from the bookbinding program are working behind the scenes in the Boston Public Library, at the Athenaeum. They're doing conservation work to repair documents, to preserve special collections of printed materials. They're doing this around the country at universities that have special collections and special libraries. So we think of our graduates in some ways as the unsung heroes of the cultural world, often doing the quiet work behind the scenes to make the rich cultural life of this community possible for all of us. And there are more modest projects as well. So for instance, the carpentry program rebuilt food lockers for the women and children of the St. Mary's shelter in Dorchester. A very practical need, and it was a way that we can give practical help to a complex problem of people needing just to secure food and personal belongings when they're in transition.
Another project out in the neighborhoods
That's
in
right.
Mattapan, the Fowler Epstein farm. Now, it's an old farmhouse. You
That's
fixed
right.
it up, but what else was going on there?
Yes, so that was a farm in Mattapan that was built around the 18th century. And at that time, it was a rural community. It was a farming community. And as the city grew, of course, Mattapan changed. The farm changed hands, and it became a derelict property. So literally fallow fields, and nothing was happening there. And in fact, it was a discouragement to the community because it was empty and became a little bit of a blight. So Historic Boston was able to purchase that property and then partnered with North Bennett in order to do some of the investigation as to what the original structure had been like, where the windows were, in particular, how big they were. The North Bennett preservation carpentry students were able to go, find changes that had been made that were not historically accurate, and actually some issues around the foundation that were going to damage the house. So this brings the whole farm back online, and now, as you know, it's the headquarters for the Urban Farming Institute in the area. So bringing a farm a historical farm back up to date for contemporary uses. This is what I think is really terrific about kind of combining these organizations and these skills.
I'm sure the students are well beyond looking down on work done by hands, but at the same time, what about the feeling they get from seeing an old building get fixed up the right way, the historically authentic way?
That's right. I mean, making your living working by your hands is just an incredibly gratifying way to live and work. And so our students, one of the wonderful things about working with your hands is you get to see the whole arc of the process with your authorship. So you get to do the research to start the project, you get to set the goals, whether you're making a violin or tuning a piano or installing a lock, you know the end point, and you're the author of all of that work. You learn the skills, you learn the tools, you learn the materials. So that gives real pride and a real sense of self-satisfaction to have seen something from concept all the way through to finished, whether it's a building or, as I say, an instrument.
This is BNN News, and we're talking with Sarah Turner from the North Bennett Street School. Sarah, what about the kind of people who go to school? I mean, I can imagine them being young people, but maybe people in the middle of life who need to make a change. How does this work out?
Yes, that's exactly right. So we have some folks who are coming right out of high school and know that a 4-year college education is not the right path for them, that they're looking for an alternative to that. So we've got some young folks studying with us. We do have people who have decided after successful professional lives that they want to do something different. They want to do something special to them and unique to them, and so they may come and study with us at that point for a change of career. We have about 20% of our students who are veterans, and this is a population we're really proud to have in our community. They are transitioning out of military life, starting civilian lives again, and they're finding that the skills that they bring from their military training have great application. Collaborative working, problem solving, goal setting, overcoming obstacles. These are terrific skills that they bring, and it turns out that it works well when they study with us.
Well, you're a very old school, but at the same time, you've got a new facility. Tell us about that.
Yes, we are. So we were founded in 1881 in Boston's North End. So happily, we're still in the same community where we started. But about 5 years ago, the board and the outgoing president, Miguel Gomez Ibanez, started thinking that they needed to get all of their programs under one roof. And so they did just that. We're now in buildings right on North Street. We're in an old police station and an old Boston printing press. So now the terrific part of this is not only are the facilities remarkable and just remarkably well suited to the work that we do, it also puts us all together so that carpenters are having lunch with violin makers and piano tuners are having lunch with bookbinders. So it really makes for a very, very cohesive community.
We should mention if people would like to get some more information, you've got some places online where they can get that?
That's right. So our website is nbss.edu. And one of the programs I haven't mentioned is our continuing education. So if people are interested to just test the waters, see if they'd like to take a class, they can go to our website, think about taking a class, and it's a great, great gift for the holidays.
Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you so much.
Sarah Turner from
Yes.
the North Bennett Street School. We'll have more news in just a moment.